Today I'm doing a video of a recipe that has been kind of all over Instagram, and I happened to make last week. And in making it, I thought this would be an awesome thing for me to do as a treat. And so today I'm kind of doing an experiment. I'm making these sour cream and chive pull-apart rolls. I made them last week. I added bacon. I'm gonna do that again because it was great. And the reason I'm making them as a trial is because I'm gonna make them and store half of them in the freezer before I bake them and before they're proofed. Oops, that was my oven. And that way I can see if I can make them for you guys. I can store them away and give them to you so you can bake them fresh, because at the heart of everything I'm doing is that I really, really want people to have the freshest product. Because it's great getting things that are baked for you. But when all you have to do is put it in the oven and the result is that you're getting something that's homemade and warm and fills your house with that amazing smell, I think that's the best. That's my goal. So I'm gonna show you how to make these. If you feel like you wanna make them, please do. But I'm happy to make them for you too. So this is a pretty basic dough. It is, I am gonna use bread flour. So that's one special thing that maybe not everybody has, but super easy. Go to Target. They even have King Arthur, which is what I use. So this starts with this sort of Korean method for this really soft bread, which I'm not going to try to butcher and pronounce because I don't want anybody coming after me for that. I think it's called tangzong. I don't know. But anyway, essentially, here it is in the bowl. And what it is flour, water, and milk. And you put it on the stove, whisk it over medium-high heat until you get this really sort of thick, I don't know what to call it, paste. It will give you really, really soft rolls. So that seems like a weird way to start a bread, but that part is so simple. So that goes in the bottom of the bowl. And then all I'm gonna do is put in yeast. So this is yeast and milk. The yeast has been, it's been warmed in the milk so that it proofs and kind of comes to life. So I'm gonna put that in my bowl. You'll find that I don't make sourdough ever because I'm impatient. So I use a lot of yeast, but I really like yeasted bread. So, you know, I know sourdough is better for you and kind of cool to make, especially during this whole crisis. But I still haven't made any, so maybe sometime I will. Next, I'm gonna put sugar. So it's about 1/4 cup of sugar right into the bowl, 3 eggs, and everything I'm adding is room temperature. So you don't, especially when you're making a dough with yeast, you don't wanna add cold things in there. You really want everything to be the same temperature. This is a cup of sour cream. I didn't say that this was like a diet bread or, you know, something you should have before you exercise, but everything in moderation, like everything. So sour cream into the bowl. What's easy about this is basically everything just goes in the bowl and then you kind of go from there. Then I'm gonna put, you know, we had sour cream and eggs, so butter. Butter's not bad. A little butter goes in there. And then it's just gonna look like this, just everything kind of mushed in there. And then I have 5½ cups of bread flour and a little salt. So I'm gonna put all this in the bowl. I'm gonna put this down so you can see. And then this is gonna go on the mixer. This is my friend's mixer. Thank you, Amber. Mine is still broken. So put this in the bowl and just kind of start. I am gonna start this slowly, let it all come together and let it knead for probably about 7 to 8 minutes. And then I'll come back and show you the next part. Okay, so the dough has risen for about an hour and it is looking ready to go. So for me, this is the fun part that I get excited about making things because of the next part. I just like the process and doing it. This is probably what turns some people off and they don't want to do, which is why I get to do it for so many people. But this is where, you know, the dough becomes rolls and you incorporate all the fun stuff. So I am going to shift this down. This is my rustic dough. This is a really enriched dough. You saw the eggs, the butter, the sour cream. So it's pretty dense. And I had mentioned to you that I was going to make 2 different kinds. So I am gonna just show you one so I don't just take up so much time on this video, but So here's my dough. Now I'm gonna make 2 different ones. So I'm gonna cut this in half. And also, if you do look at this recipe, I'm more than happy to share. If you look at this recipe, it's gonna say a 9 by 13 inch pan, which is a lot of rolls. I am making 2 8 by 8 squares and another loaf because it makes quite enough. So I'm gonna take this piece, and it's really soft, really easy to roll out. I'm gonna roll this out into a square, and if it pulls back a little bit, don't even worry about it. This is one of those doughs that's so easy to roll. It's just like kind of a dream. This is my favorite. Lightly flour your surface. This is going to, especially on like a counter like this, a marble or granite counter, it's gonna pull up and not stick to the counter. So you're pretty much okay. And you don't need to roll this too thin, but I'm gonna make it bigger. I'm gonna wind up putting all the filling in, rolling it up again. So you'll notice that I roll and then I pick up the edges and I let it kind of go back to its shape. And that's something that you're gonna wanna do really whenever you're rolling dough. If this isn't a perfect square, I see that in recipes. I mean, you're not gonna ruin it. So if you roll it into a rectangle and it's at a square, life will go on and you'll be able to make whatever you were making to begin with. Okay, so we're in a good place for me to start adding my ingredients. So this is gonna be my sweet roll. Sorry, I can't figure out how to film and be in the screen and do this at the same time. So here's my dough. I have melted butter, and I'm just gonna brush this with melted butter. Not that it needs more, but it's gonna help the cinnamon sugar that I put inside adhere. In the next one, which I'm not gonna film, but I'm gonna freeze as a sample for you guys, I'm gonna put bacon and chives and no butter because the bacon and chives will just kind of stay in there. So I brushed the whole thing with butter. I have cinnamon and sugar here, and I did add a tiny bit of clove because I just love that winter spice, but not a lot. Clove is something that you wanna use sparingly. Cloves are really strong, and I don't wanna use all this sugar anyway. Obviously I'm making this up. So I'm gonna rub this all around. I don't want it to be too crazy, but it's good. Now I have everyone's favorite raisins. There are so many people that hate raisins here, it's unreal. I don't hate raisins at all. These are rehydrated. So if you take your raisins and you wanna bake with them and you just take them out of the box, they are just like little dried, ew, I would hate them too. But I just put a little hot water over them, let them sit, drain that off, and you have plumped raisins again, and they're really delicious. So I know who the raisin haters are because when I make rum raisin cookies, I get the requests. I totally respect not liking them, but I love them, and this is for us, so we're gonna have raisins in ours. Okay, now how does this become rolls? So I'm gonna roll this up. This is kind of an interesting method actually, and I don't know if this is gonna work because I'm kind of doing a test on camera. I pinch the seam, and then I'm gonna kind of pat this out, squish it back together a little bit, and I'm gonna roll this a little bit. Which with the raisins, we'll see how this goes. You don't want the raisins to be too wet. They will wind up coming through the dough. So I rolled it in that log. Now I'm gonna just kind of roll it out a little here, and then I'm gonna cut my rolls and show you how to shape them. So this isn't gonna roll too much. That's probably all I'm gonna get out of this. Okay, so now you flatten this, and now I'm gonna do 9 pieces. These are my pans that I'm using. So I have one 8 by 8 inch square, super buttered, and then I'm doing a little loaf with a few more rounds. So I'm gonna cut this into 13 pieces, which is kind of a funny number. Go in half. I know this looks like something you're probably not gonna wanna do, and then we'll go like this. Okay, now I'm gonna tuck all this together underneath. Just gonna show you one of these. Make a little ball. Now this is the hard part that's probably gonna throw people. Making this into a roll. This is a really challenging technique if you've never done it before. You roll it around, I'll show you again. So now I have this little ball, I'm gonna put 1 in here. I'm gonna wind up putting 9 in here. I'm gonna squeeze all these ends together. And then when you take this and you have your hand on it, I've tried to teach my mom how to do this, it's kind of challenging. You let the counter do a lot of the work, and your thumb. If you can see my thumb sort of pushing this back into place, it's really all about cupping your palm and having this underneath. But it is something, it's one of those things where you really need to do it a whole lot of times until you get the feel for it. And once you do, you'll never forget it. It's like riding a bike. So, okay, so I am going to keep doing this, and then I'll show you where we're at after I do the bacon and chive, and I'll show you both of them, and then what's gonna happen after that. Okay, so this has taken so long that it's almost dark outside. And the best part of doing something like this is it takes a long time, I mean, time-wise, but I'm doing a million other things while this is resting. So, I mean, I just made a batch of cookies, I emptied my dishwasher. So there's all sorts of things there's things I can find to do, you know, when it's resting. So, it's time to bake them. So this is the little tray of the cinnamon raisin buns. I had a few extra pieces of the bacon and chive that I didn't fit in my pan. My scale broke 2 days ago, and I have a new one coming tomorrow. So I would normally weigh each piece and make sure that each one were exact, but because I didn't and I eyed it, I wound up with some extra parts. So these are just some little folded in half bacon and chive little buns, and I just thought it'd be fun to bake them and see what would happen. So I am going to just brush these with a little egg wash, which is nothing more than a beaten egg. You can add a little water. Egg wash is gonna give it that beautiful golden color. So I'm gonna brush these with egg wash. I'm gonna bake them in a 375-degree oven for about 25 minutes until they're golden brown. And then I will take them out and brush them with more melted butter, because if you're gonna put fat, you might as well keep it going. And then we'll taste them and see how they are. All right, so now they're baked and now it is dark out. So I just took them out of the oven. Here is the pan of little buns. I'm gonna take some melted butter and brush that over the top. And I mean, it looks like, honestly, the cinnamon raisin came out delicious. I can't wait to taste them. And then I will show you also these little kind of fun little weird shaped rolls that I made, which I'm sure will be really good too. Okay, so brushed with butter, aside from the one where the raisins peek through, not too bad. I am going to bake the ones that I put in the freezer with chive and bacon tomorrow. So I'm gonna take them out, let them proof, and see how long that takes. And then see if maybe I can do this as a treat, because they're so delicious. And I feel like Christmas dinner, New Year's, I feel like none of us are gonna be doing anything crazy fun. We're not gonna be out. So it would be nice to have a really great meal at home, which is what I'm planning on doing. And bread, I can't not have bread when I have a great meal, because bread and butter is one of my favorite things. So I'm gonna pull one of these loaves off of here and just show you. Oh my God, it's so hot. So, oh my God, it smells delicious. And you can just pull it apart and see all the raisins. Obviously this is almost too hot to eat. I've been known to be able to eat really hot food, and people comment that there's something wrong with me, but it won't bother me. So these would be perfect for like Christmas breakfast, which I love Christmas breakfast. Even though I celebrate Hanukkah, I celebrate Christmas too, so a little of everything. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you try to make them, or that it got you interested in having them. I'm trying to eat while I talk. So that's the pull apart roll. If you would like the recipe, it is online at, I think this is actually on Bon Appetit online, but I'll link it to my video. I'll have one of my kids show me how to do that. I'm not very technologically advanced, but super easy. And also I'm gonna make these with chorizo and maybe manchego. I wanna put everything in this roll. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Bye.